Hi, Vikram.
Hi, Jorge. It's
First
it's
of
uh,
all,
nice connecting to you.
yes, absolutely. After a long time. And welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me here.
No worries at all. Look, let me first share to our audience how we know each other. Vikram
Sure.
and I worked in Telstra Purple a long time ago. That is, I left Telstra Purple in 2021. Vikram still works there. He is from the Singapore team, and I was working here in Australia and Melbourne. There were a couple of shared projects where we interacted with each other, and then we remained connected over LinkedIn, and that's a shared work history. But what I want to do is invite you, Vikram, to talk about your career journey a little bit so that we get to
Yeah.
know a little bit more beyond just, hey, you worked in Telstra Purple.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for that intro, Jorge. 2021. Yes, that's a long time. It's 2025, and back then I never imagined that I'll be coming to your podcast and we will be talking like this. It's been a long time. Yes. I guess I have been with Telstra for around the year of 2020 Feb. And in those 2 years, we must have interacted on few projects that we find it helpful. But since then, I'm still with Telstra. I'm glad that you leave and explore the more opportunity outside Telstra. And probably I'll also do it at sometime in the future as well. But this is going well. Coming to my background, basically, I started my journey in IT back in 2009. So I was a college graduate from SRM University, Chennai. And basically, I'm originally from Bihar, Jharkhand state in India, which is like towards the eastern side of the India part. And then from there, I went to the south, Chennai, SRM University for graduation. Then I got a college placement, which I put me into TCS, Tata Consultancy Network. Then I had to go for a 3 month training into Trivandrum. And from
Nice.
there, I got, yes. And then I got placed into Pune, where I was there for more than 4 years. And from Pune, I moved to Bangalore for a couple of more years, another company, which is Oracle Technologies in this case. So when I was there in Pune, it was all good. Teachers was doing all well, and I really liked the environment. But I think when you wanted to grow as a fresher, right? You're 4 years into the company and move to the company, to the other company and the other technologies. It's better you move out. And then from Pune, I moved to Bangalore. Bangalore, I jumped a couple of companies from first Oracle, from Oracle to Epico, and then from Epico, I came to Singapore.
Nice.
Here in Singapore, I have been here for more than 6 years now, and it is going well. And I'm liking the Singapore work culture as well, considering it's the Australian company who really provides the work-life balance,
Yeah.
and that's the USP of this company. I like the best part. But yes, since then I have been doing all well in Singapore. Yes.
Nice. Look, there's a few elements there that you touched on. And first of all, getting into TCS or Infosys or Accenture or Wipro, one of those big companies, that's been the pathway for a few of us in the IT industry. We we had a boom in the number of engineering colleges back in India, especially in the southern states of Kerala and Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, actually. So the journey sounds very familiar with a lot of others that I know as well. You come to those states, you do your engineering, and then there was a big outsourcing boom at the time, and
True.
we had these large corporations that were doing projects for mostly external sort of customers, scoop up these engineering candidates, and then you mentioned about that rigorous training. There was a 3 month
Yeah.
training for you.
Yeah.
At Trivandrum, one of my most favorite cities because
Yeah.
you have the hilly side, you have the seaside.
True. Yes.
You can get everything within arm's reach. It's a
True.
beautiful city. So I think that is a very common sort of pattern for a lot of us.
True.
Done a similar thing as well. I joined Infosys. I had about 6 months training. So it was a little bit more than TCS. It was in Mysore,
Mysore, yes, right.
Bangalore, and then started working for different sort of customers, right? But for you, it's quite interesting that you did bounce around quite a bit. Like, you came to Chennai, you experienced Pune after that, you went to Bangalore, and then finally now you are in Singapore. So you have a lot of resilience and adaptability in terms of moving places, looks like.
Completely agree with you. And it somehow I also like it because I get to experience the different culture, different work culture, outside of office, different people, different languages. India is very diversified country, right? So going to one state, having one language, then moving to another state, they have a different culture, different festivals, different food and everything. So adaptability should be the maximum side, because once you adapt to these conditions, you can really excel. I think not only this part, it can correlate with our IT journeys as well, right? Whichever company we switch to, whichever company you go to, or whichever technology we work, if we don't adapt, we are being isolated. So kind of adaptability is our portfolio. We
Yeah.
all have to do it somehow in our career in order to move forward.
And
Yes.
it provides growth opportunities as well. Like, I mean, adaptability is one side, but being in a
Yeah.
different situation makes you or takes you out of your own comfort zone and helps you to grow a little bit. Can you give me a little bit more insight into your journey in Bangalore and in Pune? Because I know that from your history, you have done a lot of ERP related work. So I
Yeah.
want to know a little bit more about that, because ERP is,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay, that's nice to hear. So, okay, I'll probably start with Pune, the TCS part, how I get into there, what I did. And then when I moved to Bangalore, where I work with a company called Epicor, which has the ERP portfolio, I get to work with them. But let me start with Pune TCS. So when I was working for TCS in Pune, my job profile, I was mapped to the Microsoft client. So I had a Vdash account, the vendor account, which
nice.
Microsoft
Yeah,
generally
yeah.
gives to their vendors. So I had that. And I worked there for nearly 4 plus years. Yes, 4 plus years. So Microsoft is considered as a high-tech business unit inside the TCS. Back then, I don't know what's the condition right now, because all these big names was part of the high tech we use. So that was kind of good, because when I started my journey, college fresh out, graduated, you don't know much a lot how the things are working in the corporate world, right? So people started training you. The senior people started grooming you, how you should adapt, how you should reach out to the customer, how you should respond, and everything. So I started my project with WTT. It's a small project, Windows Test Technologies. It was back then. I don't know if the project still exists or might be vanished by now. But then I moved to another project. It was Agile project. So Agile project, which gave me the background of hybrid setup, hybrid cloud, because then I got to work with the Hyper-V, SCVMM, these kind of technologies, which is pretty good in terms of Microsoft. They are leading. But from there, I moved to Oracle in Bangalore when I got the offer. Oracle was good because then I get to try my hands on the Oracle marketing cloud called Eloqua. Before Eloqua, I don't think any tool existed like that, because it's a marketing cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever there is a campaign, imagine one of the company wanted to launch something. It's like big billion day sale, like Amazon or Flipkart back in India, if you have seen. They wanted to run a campaign, and probably 100,000 or over a million emails should be triggered overnight to all the participants, to all the users. So these kind of marketing cloud helps to trigger in no time to the hundreds of users. So I never imagined that there is such a tool existed before I joined Oracle. So I get to try my hands onto it. It was good, but it was only couple of years that I get to work with Oracle.
Okay.
After that, I got a chance with Epicor ERP. That's where the most of my experiences lies, because Epicor ERP, although I was part of the Epicor company, I was part of the cloud solution platform engineering team. So my team was basically responsible for whatever the ERP is hosted into on-prem side
Okay.
to migrate them into the cloud. So I'm telling you the situation which is like 10 years back. So people were trying to adapt to the cloud. Microsoft probably just have launched sometime in 2013 or 14, I guess.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be in the cloud with their product. And this company had over 65 products into ERP, and they also wanted to leverage the scalability which cloud provides. So along with my team, we had a team of 4 people across the globe. So along with my team, we migrated few of them, and it was really good because we have to understand their ERP features first, talking to the different stakeholder who are the owner who's managing the complete ERP, understand them, understand their pain point, how much downtime they can give it to us, and all those things. Then we design the landing zone into the cloud and migrate them one by one to the cloud based on their convenience. But I could see the value because once the ERP being migrated to the cloud, a lot of users, a business owner, see the productivity goes rise, the traffic is coming well, they can scale as much as they want. So that's really went well for them.
Yeah.
ERP,
You seem to have caught the SaaS side of things a little bit earlier than others, because most of the companies that moved to a SaaS based model moved quite
yeah,
slowly, is what I would say.
yeah,
I don't think back in 2012, 2013, people were ready to jump onto the cloud. And
yeah,
I remember Microsoft Azure itself was, I know Infosys formed an Azure team somewhere around that 2010 mark.
yeah.
And Microsoft at the time mentioned that, look, a lot of people will be working on Azure going forward. And then
Wow.
people couldn't actually imagine that, right? Like, because it is all,
Yeah,
like you mentioned, Hyper-V and Windows machines and
yeah,
proper infrastructure. So you
yeah,
seem to have caught the SaaS migration path quite early on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think the credit goes to the people who wanted to adapt to the cloud or the change. Because once things started changing, a lot of customer we have seen, they do not want to make the changes because it will create havoc for them.
Yeah.
They will have to do a lot of changes on their side, and a lot of company try to avoid that. But I had a very good team led by Henrik Klemola, who's a Swedish-based guy in Canada, who was guiding us through all the steps, process, and so on. So basically, when I joined Epicor, the team was still working on Hyper-V, SCCV, SCVMM, those kind of technologies. But he pushed it. He pushed it, and the senior management, like C-level executives in that company, understood the need to adapt to the cloud, which really made it feasible for us because if you're into the onboarding team,
Yeah.
you can try hell lot of things to try on,
Okay.
like how the VM works, how the technology works, how the networking works into the cloud. And that probably happened the best thing to me because then you're part of the onboarding team. You know, you have to guide to the other business unit how cloud works and help them, educate them that once you migrate, you will see this, these are the changes, and things will gradually change. Things will improve definitely going to the cloud. That something was a life-changing moment for me when I was working for Epicor. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Look, I'll also touch on that particular point about implementation, because
Yeah.
I think that is the place where the improvement happens, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
in a different way, that is where the rubber meets the road. When it comes to, like, if you want to use a car or a motorcycle analogy, right? Because
Yeah.
that's where you are working on actual implementations at customers. Because when you are
Right.
in a feature team, what happens is that you're developing the feature in a very controlled environment. And then
True.
what happens is that when an implementation team goes in and implements it at that customer, that's when you have to fine tune it. That's where you get the friction. And that's where you figure out, like, how much, what sort of use cases you can use it for and not. Like, because especially in those days, if you had an on-prem implementation of anything, be it ERP, be it like, Microsoft Dynamics, be it a SharePoint, there was a lot of customizations that people used to build on top of that,
Yeah,
and a lot of
I agree.
workflows and a lot of automation that you do based on your server implementation of things,
Yeah,
which you have to scale back if you have to move to the cloud. I remember
true.
that was a huge thing and a huge blocker for a lot of Australian companies to move to the cloud, because you had this big monolithic ecosystem that you've built around an
Exactly.
implementation of an ERP or a product. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you would have encountered some of that as well.
We did. And that is why here the interaction with the stakeholder matters a lot, because we also got pushed back because nobody wants to change. That's what we have seen. Even here in Singapore, I think that's a mindset, right? Nobody wants to do the changes which will create a problem for their daily life. So you need to convince them, you need to talk to the right people, the decision maker people, to make them aware that this is actually going to do good for your product, for your team. You should start learning it out and see how it works. So whenever we had to migrate or bring or onboard a new ERP product into the cloud, we always talk to these stakeholder, the respective ERP stakeholder, talk to them that what does your ERP product do? So there are so many products. If I give you a few names like ERP Kinetic, ERP iScala, there were some ERP products which is related to Lumberjack and so on. So they had a suite of ERP products, and whatever we tend to get the approval from the C-level executives that this is a product that we wanted to migrate in the next 6 months, we start the conversation with the respective stakeholders. Then we tell them that how this migration would take place, what do we need from you. So we educate them throughout this, and it was never easy. So I should say that being on the technology side, it's easy for us to just say that things will go smooth,
Yeah,
but the application team feels the brunt of something goes wrong.
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to make them understand. You just have to take care of the application side of the functionality check from the time to time what has been breaking, how the things works, and help us also understand so that we can help you if something breaks down. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's
so
also baby
it
steps, right? Because a
exactly,
good
yeah,
example I would say is that Active Directory. Every company had Active Directory, like,
yeah,
they had their own username, passwords, everything set up properly in there.
yeah,
We had network based authentication at the time, mostly, like, so you log on to your network and now you're authenticated, right? Like, so
yeah,
then you have your whole identity management behind that, which included like your Windows Kerberos related authentication, where you say, look, I'm this person because I'm logged in as this person into this particular system. And one of the transitions for that was you have your Microsoft Online identity provider, but then you had a sync job that synced between
yes,
your AD and your online AD. So that, because you didn't trust the cloud AD enough to say that we don't need an offline Active Directory anymore. So you had not just federation, but you had syncing. So this is where again the hybrid cloud became like a stepping stone to full cloud adoption, so that people feel a little bit more confident that, look, we can always rely and fall back on our local or hybrid sort of
yes,
setup.
yeah,
Now, interestingly, my thought process, and I think everybody's thought process, is that there was a time that we wanted to have hybrid arrangements,
yeah,
and the banks and others, now they've gone multi-cloud, so that, like, if one cloud fails, the other cloud takes over. So the idea is that, or at least the understanding is that, it's all cloud now.
yeah,
There's no requirement for hybrid because that was a stepping stone back in the day. Now,
Yeah,
your experience says otherwise. You said that hybrid cloud is still quite valid and thriving.
it is.
Can
It
you, yeah,
is.
can you
Yeah.
enlighten me a little bit more about that?
Wow. Wow. What topic you brought in? Because that's not the same case. Probably not here. Maybe few companies in Australia and New Zealand as well, who who doesn't want to go all hands into the cloud because, but they want the scalability of the cloud, the scalability and the different functionality like DR and all which cloud brings. So a lot of company that we are talking to, the different customers, they prefer a solution like Azure Stack. So this is one of the part, but a few of them also wanted to be into the data center by different provider like Equinix and where. So they wanted to have their dedicated rack where they can host their own workload. But we are still seeing the pushback by moving to the cloud because the companies are still feeling that cloud may not be good enough for them or the applications. So the companies are also struggling with the legacy application on their side,
Right.
which may not support all the features if you move to the cloud. There are companies who are still running on Windows 2003 OS. Imagine that, 2008 OS. Wow, that's probably gone long back. So their challenge is how do they migrate the application, right? Even with the recent technologies, it would be very different. But I guess at some point of time, they need to do the application modernization as well in order to enhance the application or adapt the application into the recent side. But yes, and a customer, I mean, the recent time companies are still worried about if they go to the cloud, whether they will be able to use their applications properly or not. And that's why there is a little bit of hesitance
Okay.
that they do not want to move to the cloud completely.
Is
Although they
there a
have
is there a
few
cost
presence,
element to it as well, or is it mostly because of features that they will lose from the applications?
there is a cost element as well. But in order to counter that, we always used to tell our customer that if there is a too much cost in the cloud, that means you're not using it properly, right? Because cloud gives you the flexibility to pay what you use, right? So if you're running your workload for like 12 hours out of 24 hours and you see a bump in the cost, you're not using it properly, right? You need to right size the things. You need to see what are the resources you are not utilizing properly, how to turn it off. Do you have the right team? Do you have the team with the right technical knowledge who can really fine tune these things? So cost does matter. There are companies who probably clocking over 1 million throughout the year in cloud, like Azure or AWS. We have seen them. And sometimes when we get access to their environment, we tend to see that, wow, we can probably save 20% flat if they just give us optimization kind of request to us that we can help them save a lot of cost.
Right.
They do not know actually. That's what we have seen. A lot of these companies are not technically educated, or they don't know how to do that. They don't have people to help them with that.
Right.
And I feel that we can also help them probably in the future
Yeah.
if they tend to see these podcast and how we can help them in their journey
The
to
cost block.
optimize their
Yeah.
resources. Yeah,
So, just coming back to the application side of things, right? You said that there are
sure.
companies still on Windows 2008 servers, 2003 servers, and there are applications that they can't move to the cloud. Just from what you have seen so far, is it because there is not a SaaS product available for them currently that they can utilize, or is it because they don't have the capital investment required to move, or is it because that the applications are quite difficult and very custom that they can't actually pick it apart into parts and move their processes across?
That's a good question because now you're really tapping into the knowledge what customer can have or they would have, because cost is one thing, but I think there is a knowledge gap as well. I'll give you a classic example of Microsoft Navision ERP product, which was there long back. It has been outdated now. I don't think any other company may be using it or onboarding it in nowadays. But what Microsoft has done, they have they are recommending to go into Dynamics, Microsoft Dynamics, as their new product, and Dynamics is also available as a SaaS product. So what Microsoft says, if you are willing, we can help you migrate from Navision to Dynamics. But then again, right, is company or the users or the customers ready to take that risk to migrate their Navision? So in today's world, I see a lot of problems people adapting to Dynamics because Navision has already given them so much of comfort in the past that they are not willing to take that risk to being migrated, right? So this is just one example. So I feel knowledge gap is probably which is something blocking them. And even from the different cloud provider perspective, like Microsoft or AWS, they should be educating or they must be doing it already, I guess, to these customers, how they can help to bring them without any issues.
Yeah.
Because one of the pain point could be the downtime, which probably they do not want to take it. Few of these ERP products is like the bread and butter for many of the company stakeholder. They do not want to risk even because production may be related to it, and
Yeah.
if they provide a downtime, it could be lost to millions of dollars to them. So they do not want to avoid any of those.
Yeah.
Yes, they need to take a call, and probably cloud provider is the best people who can convince them with more and more funding related options, which they can help to migrate them. Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I don't have a strong view that look, all of your applications should be in the cloud or all of your applications should be in a data center. Like, things might be
Yeah.
different for different organizations. But one of the aspects that I would always look at is from a security standpoint, because if you are running your workload on very old operating systems and very old systems, the possibility that you have a big security vulnerability is high. And
Yeah.
that's the scary part, because Australia in the recent years have seen increased attacks on corporate data.
Yeah.
Essentially, you have ransomware, you have other sort of things, and you have stricter laws around ensuring that your data is upgraded, your systems are upgraded. The Australian government has created a framework called Essential 8, which
Mhm.
requires all the organizations to maintain a level of recency in terms of updating their software, updating their systems, and ensuring that the security posture is there, right? So
Yeah.
that's another big motivating factor for people who need to move to at least a modern system, right? Like, if you're running
Yeah.
a Windows 2008 server, then
Yeah.
it shouldn't be the case. You
Yeah.
have to move to something that is a lot more recent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I totally agree with you. I don't know how Singapore government may be able to help here because many of these companies are not Singapore headquartered. They may be somewhere in Japan, they may be somewhere in Malaysia or Australia. So could be somewhere. So probably the different region company could come up with something like that regulation, which Australian team has made, and think about how they can adapt to the new technologies.
Right.
We are into the AI world, and if you're
Yeah.
still talking about Windows 2008, how are we going to adapt to the AI then?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're really far behind if you are
Yeah.
still in those old systems and we are in the world of AI, and the gap is too much, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's too huge. So I want to talk a little bit about AI as well. Like, you did bring up the topic
Yeah.
right at the right time, I would say. Look, from your consulting experience, like, how much
Yeah.
are people adopting AI? Like, what sort of things are they adopting? Have you played with it so far?
Wow. Looking at the corporate network, I don't see a lot of people adapting it because even the corporate level projects that we are seeing flowing through, is not huge. I guess there is a caution into the market. People who wanted to wait and watch the AI, how AI is reshaping their live use cases on a day-to-day basis. Because the way AI is doing into the market right now, everybody's doing something. That's what I could see.
Yeah.
But at the top of the level, if you see how corporates are adapting to it, you may not be able to see the visible output coming out of them. That's why I say people are probably taking a little bit of
Slower.
caution approach at this point of time. They wanted to wait and watch how the things will turn out. Is there a real value that they can see, and how they can probably adapt into their day-to-day life? But one of the good test cases that I have seen people adapting to it is Copilot. A lot of companies are going for Copilot is one of the example. Like Telstra has adapted to Copilot. It has rolled out Copilot for all their users, but in the different company. A few days back, I was reading one of the article where Deloitte has rolled out Claude AI for their all the employees, which is good because it definitely increases your productivity on a day-to-day basis. This is actually the positive thing that I'm seeing right now, because if one company adapts, other also does, and slowly things will adapt. So this is a slow move that people are adapting to one of the AI tool for their day-to-day productivity, but slowly, probably they will go into MCP, model context protocol. They will go into agentic AI. I'm sure a lot of people are already upskilling back in at their pace. But these are few of the things which has hit the market.
Yeah.
And I guess people should explore one thing at a time, like MCP, agentic AI, and slowly start upskilling,
Yeah.
because things are changing gradually and we should adapt it
Can you
slowly, but at
talk
least,
about
yeah.
MCP and agentic AI in a brief intro to MCP and agentic AI, like what it is?
Sure. So I'll probably go with the agentic AI first. So agentic AI is, consider that you're doing something. Let's take an example of travel booking, right? Now, if you have to book a tickets, you're traveling somewhere, you have to go to the site, you have to check the dates, you have to check the availability, fare as well, the less fare which airline provides what.
Yeah.
So you're actually taking care of a lot of things all by yourself, right? Now you can have an agent. Okay, so these agents basically will check the details for you. You can ask agent to just check the details for me, the less cost fare between Singapore and Australia, which airline for this particular date, and agent will basically check it, and then you give them a date that I'm planning to travel sometime probably towards the end of December during the Christmas time, and if the availability looks good, book a ticket. So you are actually just giving the instruction, and agents will take care of everything from verifying the detail to the availability towards the end of the month, and then booking it. And you can also specify that you do all the hard work, and at the end of payment page, just stop there and I will add my card and do the transactions.
Right.
So all these things can be taken care by agents, and you don't have to interfere at all. That's one of the example.
Yeah.
Now, same way, you can also do the model context protocol. I I will probably give an example of your local laptop. One of the, I don't know if you can do this, but you can also install one of the AI tool locally on your computer, on your laptop. It will be offline. It is not connected to online. So it is more of a like, you wanted to respect your privacy. You do not want to share anything to the outside world. And that is why you can install one of the AI tool onto your local laptop, which will be disconnected to the entire world. No connection to the internet. Now, once you install this, I'll give you a name of such tools. You can probably try Misty LLM, MSTY
Okay.
LLM. So Misty LLM, you can try it out by hosting into your local laptop, and then you map it to your local drive. Okay, local drive like C drive, D drive, and so on. Now try to ask this local LLM that I'm looking for this file. Can you help me search? So it will help you search that, yes, I'm able to find. It is here into C drive. Do you want me to open it? So it will help you open it. Another example from there, probably Google Drive or Gmail. You can also connect this from your local laptop. So you don't have to go open Google Drive or Gmail. All can be taken care directly from your local laptop. So these are the few things which really optimizes your time, right? MCP, Agentic AI, things could be really advanced when you start doing these things. But to the newbies, someone who is new to the AI, I would first probably ask them to understand the foundation model first. What is foundation model? How you can do the interference level on top of it? How the other AI tools get hosted onto these models, and then create a product out of it.
Right.
So a lot of these tools like OpenAI, Claude, Gemini. So a lot of new tools that you see in the market are actually hosted at the back end of these tools. Yeah, they are using the LLM.
Right, right. And the MCP, like, you started mentioning about how MCP connects it to others.
Yeah,
What you're saying is that using MCP, you connect to different services to your foundational model, and then it provides enhanced sort of services.
it does.
Yep.
It does. So MCP really helps you understand how you can fetch the required detail without actually going and manually open it, right? You can just ask them, and this way they really help you to fetch the required details without doing a lot of effort. This is just a small example. Think about if you're working in a big corporate world, right? Where all of your files may be hosted somewhere in the cloud, like SharePoint. And if you have over 1 million document and you wanted to search, how difficult it would be, right? So you can connect one of the MCP to those servers and try to see and access it and see if that really helps. Either you can do that, or you can also create an agents locally which can help you find it out few of those documents. So there are so many use cases out there. I think once people start adapting to it, they will see the positive side, how these AI tools really help you on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for that. And there was one topic that came to my mind when you were talking about agents and using that to simplify your life. One of the
Yeah.
things that I wanted to ask was about workflows, and
Wow. Yes.
because it's a big component, right? Like, a lot of people are
Yeah.
automating a lot of things. Like, I think
Yeah.
hobbyists who are doing home automation to corporations that are using AI to automate certain things are
Yeah.
using workflows.
Yeah.
And have you dabbled with workflows? What are your thoughts on it?
Yes. And that's a very good thing you brought it out, because I remember that probably when we talked about this last time, we were talking about N10, which does the workflow automation. But since that discussion, Microsoft has launched agentic agents,
Right.
agents SDK, yeah, in their dev day. So actually, Copilot also provides the workflow automation nowadays. This is really cool, because what you can do with the N10, you can also use other tools, and this actually shows how company are adapting so fast.
Yep.
Every other week, they come up with some new feature which may be too difficult for a company to adapt. Probably a standalone guy can just look for the feature and start working out, but it would be too difficult for a company to adapt. So on the N10 part, on the workflow automation, how it really helps you. I'll give you an example of my channel. So I also run a YouTube channel called Tech Series SG.
Nice.
So if you have to give the content to your customer on a day-to-day basis, which is very difficult, right? To create a content, to verify it, and then trigger it on a day-to-day basis could be too much, because not every day you would be able to do it. Before AI, I think people used to just create one video every week or probably every 15 days,
Yeah.
generate it and send it to their users. But now You can probably do it every 2-3 days. The long format video I'm talking about, shorts probably every other day. So you can create a workflow. Workflow is like you on the source. First, you go to N10, you create a source, and in the source, you can ask or you can do a prompt to one of the AI tool like ChatGPT, Claude, or anything. You talk about that. You gave the prompt that I wanted to create a video or podcast. So give me the script, what I can do in order to create a video. A video should be of 3 minutes, and I wanted these many content in my script. So basically, a script will be generated. So that's one of the prompt. Now the next thing is that out of this prompt, you wanted to create a video out of it. So workflow automation like N10 or the other tool helps you send the prompt to one of the video creation tool,
Okay.
right? So video creation tool like you can take an example of Heygen or Runway, or there are so many other tools available in the market. It creates a video out of it. Now, the third step is that before sending this to the social media like YouTube, LinkedIn, Insta, wherever it is, you wanted to verify it. So you can design that first it should come to your email, a mail should be triggered for you to verify whether you wanted to push this into the social media or not. You verified, you said yes, and then push this into the YouTube or other social media network. So this way, it really helps you to work efficiently into the AI world. You don't have to actually sit there for 8 hours or 10 hours every day. Basically, AI tools helps you do that completely end to end. And this is just one of the example of workflow automation. If I give you one good example, another good example of workflow automation, I don't know if you know this. There are so many scrapping tool in the market.
Yeah, scraping. Yeah.
Yeah. So scrapping tool basically to the viewers is helps you scrap the internet. Suppose if you wanted to know how many hospitals are there in this locality, I want the numbers. I want the number of beds available in the this hospital. You can run this scrapping tool to identify the detail, and then the scrapping tool AI basically gives you all the details. So all these things, and yes, like that, and then you can try to send this information into the tool and then try to see that suppose if you wanted to do a business or wanted to sell your some products to these hospitals who can be really which can be really useful, right? So you can trigger an email to these hospitals that I have this medical product, I wanted to sell it, and can you trigger like 1,000 emails to the different hospitals, try to see if any of response back.
Right.
So all these steps you can define into the workflow automations. So you're not physically sitting anywhere doing one by one. You have already designed a workflow, and workflow automation will basically take care of all your hard work.
Yeah.
So you can just verify these things whenever needed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's quite interesting. Yeah, absolutely. In Australia, we have to be a little bit careful about marketing emails and
Okay.
calls, mainly because we have stricter regulations around how you can approach these things. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, absolutely. So especially email marketing is quite stricter. Like, as in
Wow.
they need to ensure that the user signed up for an email. You can do cold marketing as well, but I think there's
Yeah.
a lot more stricter regulations around that. So especially if you have said that you don't want emails from a particular provider and they then email you, then you could land in a hefty fine.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in those scenarios, I think you need extra agents to validate and verify that you're not breaking any rules
Definitely.
before
Definitely.
you actually send out marketing material, especially in Australia.
Yeah. Wow. That's something again new to me because
Yeah.
I'm get to know a lot about Australia with this call because I don't know if there is something like that into any other part of the world because you may be also noticing it. You are getting unnecessary email to your mail ID every other day, and you're so frustrated that you always think like, how can I stop that? And you just click on unsubscribe, and then probably next time it won't come, or it may again come after a month. So hard to say, but having these kind of regulation is definitely needed everywhere, because not everyone wants to be spammed by all this unnecessary emails. Completely agree with you.
We are slightly behind Europe, I would say that, like, because in Europe the laws are a lot more stricter.
Mm-hmm.
European laws are quite tougher, I would say, on the businesses. Australia is a little less behind in that. I think it's a lot more balanced here, but companies do cop a lot of fines in terms of sending out bad marketing emails. Like even companies like, the big supermarket giants here, like, telcos, others, like, marketing is considered to be something where you have to voluntarily get onto. Cool. So we had a small interruption, but we are back again. Essentially, we were chatting about the current condition in Australia in terms of laws and regulations related to marketing and emails. So yeah, I mean, one of the things that we need to do for agentic AI and workflows is that ensure that we are not breaking any sort of laws and local regulations.
Yeah.
So whatever workflow that we are creating, we probably need to create at the end of it additional verifications around local laws and regulations that we may be breaking, because the AI is probably trained on US laws or US regulations, and the Australian side would be different, Singapore side would be different. Europe has much stricter standards as well. So we are quite behind. But in terms of laws and regulations, I think we still have more than a lot of other places.
That's right. Yes. Yes. Correct. Yes.
It's quite interesting in terms of making sure that, because there have been recent events where some corporations in Australia had to roll back some of their AI implementations
Wow.
because it,
Okay.
it didn't go really well. And
Okay.
Australia is not the forefront in terms of AI adoption.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, there were some recent news stories, which I don't want to recount now, but you can search for it,
Yeah.
that required companies to actually go back on the outputs they've produced, or even roll back some of the decisions they've done. Where recently there was an institution that created more chatbots for customer service inquiries and things like that, and they had to roll it back and then go back to human customer service officers because of issues that they faced. Yeah, um, the adoption of AI has to be balanced with whatever risk they want to take from an organizational point of view, and ensure that it is not overstepping any bounds.
Completely agree with you. Definitely. I think people forget about the organizations right now, because that's something we cannot control, right? Because up in the chain, right? Senior management team or the leadership team will probably take a call what is right for the company or not. But what an individual can do, a focus on their personal branding, which is much needed in today's world. Because consider that if you're working on something, or you intend or you wanted to do something, and if you don't show your work, that what you are doing right now, how do you expect the other people, other company to understand you, how good you are? Because I think just reading the resume back in the days and understanding what people are capable of is the long shot. Because in the world of social media, where you have the platform to show yourself, you can do a lot more things. Instead of just writing few technologies into your resume, I think people should more focus on demonstrating it as well. Build your personal brand, how good you are, what can you do. Show it through your videos that you can build this, you can build that, you have done this, you can do that. Be in the cloud, be in the AI, be AI MCP, AI agentic AI, what you're good at. Try to show it. And probably in the future, not right now, probably after a few years down the line, people may not ask for the resume at all. They will probably see your work, that give me your channel, give me your social media account, let me see what you're good at, how you're building it. And through that, they will probably hire you. People may not be working for the companies, because their personal brand may be much, much superior than working for any other companies.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with the terminology of personal brand. Personal brand is
Yeah,
so important because how do you stand out from the rest of the candidates when you are pitching for a job or like pitching for a particular area of work? The only way you can do that is to build up your personal brand so that there is a little bit more nuance to what you're bringing, because you don't want to try and explain all of your 20 years worth of IT experience over a 1 hour interview. So if you have a personal brand, some of that is already built up before you actually meet the people.
sure.
So yeah, I mean you're right on the money there.
Yeah,
And that is quite important. Podcasts like these help as well, right? Like, we are putting out ourselves out there to be judged as well. Like, I mean people
yeah,
might
yeah,
see this and say that didn't go quite well. But the fact is that you are trying to be courageous enough to actually do that, to actually put your work out there, have conversations, show how you are, show how you interact, and then and that becomes your brand. And nobody is perfect, right? So
sure.
you can only do what you can do. But look, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me and to record this video. And can you tell me a little bit about how people can find you, your channel, so that they can follow you more
Sure.
in that
I'll
space? Yeah.
probably give you to add it into the description for the video, but I am available over LinkedIn. You can go to LinkedIn and search Vikram Kumar. You will be able to see it over LinkedIn. I run my own YouTube channel called Tech Cirrus, Tech CIRRUS hyphen SG. I I have a lot of videos in there. I have been doing some work with the AI. I have been doing some work with the cloud as well. My core technology is cloud. I consider myself very good with Microsoft Azure, but I have also worked into AWS. So I feel that. So those are the few works that I have shared over my channel. You can find me. You can help me subscribe there, and let me know how the things goes well. If you want me to touch base probably something into my channel, I can do that. And I'm also available on TopMate. If you are willing to talk to me one to one, want to do a mentorship as well, so I'm also available on TopMate profile. You can
Ah,
go
okay.
yeah, you can go to topmet.io/Vikram underscore Kumar 86. So I'm also mentoring a few people. I charge for that. My time is a little bit precious. I don't get a lot of time to work on my personal branding, to create videos. Then I do mentorship as well.
Okay.
So I try to do as much as possible where I can help people as well.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure having you.
Same here, Hore. Thank you for having me. And happy Diwali to all your viewers. It's a Diwali starting day today with
Yes.
Dhanteras. And hopefully, we will be seeing you all in the near terms. But wish you all and your viewers a very happy Diwali.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Bye.